Oh, my gorgeous wife, where are we today?
Bristol Zoo.
And what are you doing today?
Feeding a giant kitty.
What kind of giant kitty? Are you looking forward to it? Like eating mices?
No.
Looking forward to it? Let's have a look around, shall we? Inhalers.
Okay,
You can put that, put that in, yeah.
I don't know.
It's spell inhalers, INHALERS.
Doing all the important legal stuff.
Okay, is that all signed as well? Yeah, fab. Right, so it starts at 1:45. So you can have a little wander around if you like for about 10 minutes and then pop back. The keeper will meet you from here and then they'll take you over and do all the setup and stuff.
Brilliant. Thank you.
Alright, no problem. We'll see you in a bit.
It almost.
Kitty feeding time.
How many kitties?
You go in. Lions.
I know, gorillas. Are you ready?
Hello.
Hello there. You for my lion experience. Thanks for coming.
I was going to say as well, you also get a meal voucher. I don't know whether. Oh, sorry, that's alright. So you get a meal voucher, so you can use these later. Alright. And then you can pop back after the experience and you get your souvenirs as well. Alright.
She's ready.
Alright,
Thank you. See ya. Thank you.
Right there.
Hello.
So I'm Ryan.
Hello,
and I
Ryan.
am one of 20 mammal keepers who works here. I'm one of only 6 of us that actually works with the lions. So what we'll do is we'll take you over to show you our boys, let you know a little bit about them, and then we'll go up and prep their food and come back down and feed them. I'm assuming it's just you, is it? Or both of you?
Both of
I
us.
paid for both of us,
Both.
mainly for this one, as it's her birthday today,
Oh, well, happy birthday.
and she loves cats.
Well, it's definitely a perfect experience for that then. Okay, so if it's both of you, we'll get one of the reception lot to come over and take photos when we do the feeding part. So you don't have to worry about manhandling your camera or something like that. So, have you been to Bristol Zoo before?
Once.
Okay, so we have 2 Asiatic lion males, Cameron and Catan, and they are twin brothers from the last litter we had from our old female Shiva. But sadly, when the cubs were about a week old, their dad died.
Oh.
And that really upset the female.
Yeah.
As you can imagine, in the wild, that'd be a really suddenly very dangerous situation for her. Her male would be gone, so that's her main protection against other rival males who might want to kill the cub so that they can mate her. It's also somebody who's helping to provide food and that kind of stuff. So in her case, the best thing for her to do, as far as she was concerned, was abandon the cubs and just start again afresh.
Yeah.
So she sadly abandoned the pair of them, and they were only and at that point we stepped in to hand rear the boys and moved Shiva over to a zoo in France, where she's since had I think like 3 litters now.
Oh, wow.
So she's done very well over there with her new boy. But that then left these 2 boys alone, sadly. So they are now 6.5 years old. They're fully grown adult males. They still get on very, very well, as you can tell. They still sleep together, play together all the time, all that kind of thing. But they are now fully grown. So actually, in about a week, one of them will be leaving to go to another zoo to join a breeding troop, and we'll be getting in a female for the other brother. So next week is going to be a very exciting week all round.
Definitely.
I'm not sure how well they're going to cope being apart. Because they've had each other for so long, they've grown very used to it, and they've never met another lion, so it's going to be very interesting for them both. But hopefully once they realise they're just a lady, things will be bright as rain, and I'm sure they won't mind if their brothers come somewhere. So these 2 are Asiatic lions. Everybody thinks lions, okay, Africa, and it's not true. Lions actually used to cover a huge chunk of the world. They used to be from about Central Africa north and then all across southern Europe, all the way across into Asia. So there were really huge populations of lions all across the continent. And obviously they've then met human pressures. We've driven them to extinction throughout their range. And there are only really 2 subspecies left. So there's the African lion, that everybody is very familiar with, but then there is also the Indian lion, or the Asiatic lion. And these guys only live in a single forest, the Gir Forest, over in India. So their population is hugely, hugely shrunken. There's something about, I think it's about 600 individuals currently in the wild. So it's a tiny population size. And the risk that they face is either a single forest fire that burns out the entire forest, that's all the lions gone. A single disease could wipe out the whole population very easily, all these kinds of problems. There's been a lot of work over the last about 20 years now to try and protect and maintain these guys. And it's doing okay, the numbers are increasing, but not by anywhere near as much as are really required. And they're still only found in the Gir Forest because there's been a lot of reluctance on the government's part to set up other satellite populations as backup. So if the entire forest burns down, at least you've still got some over here somewhere else. Because it's a huge tourist draw to be able to say we're the only state in India that has a lion population outside of Africa. It's quite a big tourist draw. So there's been a lot of arguing politically, tourist-wise, all that kind of stuff, that actually it's more important to have these extra populations than for you to have this claim over the single population. So it's been a huge, huge thing, and it's still ongoing. There's still a lot of arguments about it to this day, but I think as of last year, they had eyed up and surveyed another forest that could be a likely release site, and I think it seems like things are finally moving towards a second population vector.
Yay.
But it does mean that these guys are classified as critically endangered because there is such a huge risk of extinction. They are years away, really, if something went wrong. So these 2 boys then are actually quite important. So there is only obviously so much space in captivity.
Yeah, of course.
Sadly, so you can only have so many of these lions. I think the population in captivity is currently about 100 Asiatic lions, which is still a very small number, but it's very carefully managed, and obviously there's no risk of forest fire and that kind of stuff. And they're very dispersed, so a single disease might wipe out 2 lions, but the rest of the population will be safe. So there's not so many pressures on the population in captivity, and we are currently at capacity. So actually the female that's joining us here won't be expected to breed straight away. She might be later down the line, but especially to begin with, she and Cameron aren't going to be needed for breeding because the population is currently at capacity. So you only have some breeds, some not breed, so that you're maintaining a population number of about the same kind of numbers of individuals, and that's all managed by a stud book manager, and they look at the population of all of the animals in their stud book, all the genetics, who's related to who, and set up best matches. Okay, so these 2 would be a really good genetic match, so if you can send your male to this zoo to breed with this female and all that kind of stuff, and that happens with just about every species in the zoo. There is this going on behind the scenes. Something like these lions is a lot more straightforward. You wait until they're about 5 or so before you move them on. There's only usually 1 or 2 lions that you're moving at a time. It's quite an easy stuff to look after. But something like meerkats, where you're having 6 or 7 born every single year in every zoo across the country, gets a bit harder to do. So whoever has this stud book has done very well to have just this one, thankfully. So what we'll do is we'll go up to our stores area and prep their food, and then we'll come back down and wake them up. And we'll get them feeding just the mesh over there.
Feeding, waking up the lions. Oh, so and no, we cannot take one home.
They seem very cute at first, but a couple of the hand rearers still work here from when they were cubs, and even when they were like a month old, they were getting scratches all up and down their arms during battle. Goodies, depending on your inclination. So most of it is the lion meat. So all of this is lion meat. So these are all bunches of horse heads, isn't here, that we get in specifically for the lions. We have quite a good relationship with a guy who works with Exmoor and Dartmoor. So the wild ponies on the moors, their population has to be physically managed to stop them overgrazing it. Yeah. So we then get in all the animals that have been culled. Because this is perfectly great then, wild horse meat. It's got everything in it. We leave all the fur on it, all the bones in it, all the eyeballs are still in the heads, all that kind of stuff. Because every last bit of
I see
it
parrot
is
stuff.
really important. Yeah, there's always parrot stuff knocking around. That's new bird seeds that have had to be frozen and that kind of stuff. We've even got blueberries and that kind of stuff being frozen in here for enrichment.
Right during the summer.
We have all sorts of other stuff in here like rats and mice and chicks and quails. Because it's not just our lions that need these meat feeds as well. We have a lot of carnivores here like the otters and the quolls and a lot of our smaller stuff as well. But most of it is just for 2 lions, and this is probably about a month's worth of food. Maybe 2 months, and we go through it pretty quickly. They're very, very hungry boys, but they'll get a drink like that each. But as you can imagine, it takes a while to defrost.
Oh yeah.
So then on the left-hand side here, we have the fridge. So
That's a
this then
fridge.
is the lion meat slowly defrosting its way around, and we work our way around it basically. So this will be tomorrow's horse heads. That'll be the day after, will be, I think that's red joints, and then this one looks like thigh, I think, in that one. So then that's several days worth ticking away, and by the time that's defrosted, it's ready to eat in a couple of days or so.
Scraps.
That then is, all of our scraps. This is about 2 days worth of penguin food.
Wow.
And again, it's like the lion meat, we need to get some defrosting. Use the stuff that's defrosted, and then by tomorrow that stuff would be defrosted to use. That's 1 day's worth of seal food. So we go through a lot of all sorts of different bits and bobs, not just horses, but loads of different species of fish and all that kind of stuff as well.
Making you feel hungry looking
So
at
this
that.
then is the food that we are going to feed the lions now. So this is our training portion of meat. So every day we give them a training portion. And this then means that we can train our lions for mental procedures and all that kind of stuff. The more things you can get a lion to do of its own accord, the less angry you're going to make it.
Oh yeah.
And the easier your life then becomes.
Nobody likes a grumpy kitty.
Yeah, exactly. So, I'll get you both a pair of gloves.
Meat preparing time.
You know I'm feeling hungry again.
After. Going to prepare the kitties' food. Are they going to be happy, kitties? Okay. Elizabeth,
But
are they going to be happy?
they're going to have munchies.
Are you happy? What are you doing? Are you going to be preparing their food? Is this a birthday present for you?
Still smoothie.
So, are you both right-handed?
She's a lefty.
It's always an awkward lefty. So, if you're a lefty, you're going to be cutting with your left hand, I assume, yes? So, what you want to do is put that one on your left, then that one on your right, and on top of that one on your right, you're going to put that one. And then if you want to do the same, but you will be, unless you'd rather not,
You just who's that for?
Kitties.
What are the kitties called?
I've forgotten.
That one. This is my turn. Nothing. Happy with that one, won't they?
Big chunky meat.
about 25 page. Where are we now for Phil? Was you able to meet us at the lines? And you can go ahead and grab the tongs of
Thank you. Yoink. Lime proof, but not kitty proof.
What happened to that cat with the big mouth?
No idea.
Escaped window.
What time is it?
Kitty feeding time.
Are they lions?
Feeding lions.
You know what I didn't bring today?
What?
Sun cream.
I did that on Friday. I went to town shopping and nearly burned in 3 hours in town because I didn't realise how sunny it was going to be all weekend.
We burn. We burn in less than 3 hours. We're probably already burning now.
Yeah, I used to, but it's years and years of working outdoors that finally built up a resilience.
Yeah.
Did you find that?
It's a Nunu!
Come on, base.
Glad to receive that.
Hi Hazel, is somebody able to join us around a live, take photos for the live experience?
Yeah, someone will be up in a minute over.
Thanks very much. Have a night. So Bristol Zoo is the 5th oldest zoo in the world.
53 to
It was the first one outside of the capital city.
Yeah.
And a lot of the history is still very evident when you're wandering around. So a good example is Twilight World. Right. Used to be a big ape house.
Okay.
And it was split into a series of apes. And that door there is a solid sheet metal door about 2 inches thick. And that is the original chimp door, for when that was a chimp outside access. So these kinds of things are just dotted around all over the place, and the lines is another example of that from when it used to be a lot of different cats that were kept in the same area, and there's a lot of dens behind the scenes, back from when it used to have, it was 5 different cat species in the same sort of space.
Right.
So we're always trying to push and improve
Your facilities.
our husbandry and all that kind of stuff. But a lot of the time, it's easier and cheaper to adapt something than to knock it all down and start from scratch.
Oh, definitely. Definitely.
So always wear like a... Oh, then I found the button.
Alright.
So what we're going to do is go through this gate here.
Yeah.
Paige is going to join us, one of my colleagues, and one of us will feed one of the lions down that end of the mesh, and one of us will feed this end. If we only get one lion coming over, we'll swap over halfway through, so that you both get a chance to feed them. They're in a good position, they're likely to wake up and come over. Sometimes when it's really, really warm weather, they're extremely lazy, just like your house cat. They'll find a nice sunspot and stay there all day. They've not been fed yet this morning, so they should be nice and keen. But obviously they are lions, so don't try and poke them through the mesh.
No.
Don't lean against the mesh. It's just obvious, nice little safety things like that.
Stroke them in your mind.
Yeah, they can lure you into a false sense of security, these guys. For the most part, they look and behave just like a house cat. A very big house cat, but a house cat. They do a lot of nice affiliative stuff, especially with those keepers that feed them regularly. They'll rub up against the mesh and that kind of stuff, the same way your cat would rub against your legs. But the minute you start feeding them, you see their behaviour change, and their eyes sort of glaze over, and they go into full predator mode, and the jaw goes a bit slack, and they start dribbling. And you know at that point anything would set them off. So they are definitely still wild lions in there, even though they hide it behind this domestic kind of behaviour.
Aye, camera traffic, Twilight, I'm Trinandy.
Bad day. Oh, it's right next. So the claws come out, yeah.
Yeah, the one they choose.
We need the pokey things.
Yeah, it's in the
You would both like to put on a pair of gloves.
Great, we'll see you then. Cheers, thanks everyone else.
Whoa!
They're looking ready for food.
Yeah, they're always very keen. If I give you those.
Lovely.
Hazel will take any photos and that kind of stuff that you, if you want. So
Can you film this lovely lady filming her lion?
Yeah, video. Oh, camera is panning too fast.
Sorry.
Praise the slide, boys. Come on, man. Son, come on, man. What's this?
That one's down.
You're gonna come over slide. Come on, man. Come on. They don't really get small things like this. They would normally in the wild have a big bowl feed and all the giant kind of thing. Come on, man. Come on. Cammy, come on. Come on, boys. What's this? Come on.
100 views?
So I don't know if never get to eat again. Next is red.
Come on, boys. Come on, man. Cammy, Dad.
74 to
Yes, Captain.
So we're
Look a bit angry. That lion watches
Come on, come on.
Come on. Stop thinking about it, you'll get it.
Yeah.
Trouble. Come on, Trouble. What's this? Come on. Come on. Come on, Cam. Come on, boys. They're made in the way that they differ from African lions, and they have a much bigger, bushier mane. It goes all the way down, about halfway down their back. And then also they can do these little scratch out. It's right around this really beautiful texture. Of the male. Come on, boys!
Just try and come this way and see if we fall.
The ones that are still in it.
Yes. There's only a very small population.
They're as big as African lions.
They're slightly smaller, but only about 10-20 kilos, which isn't a lot. These guys each weigh 100 kilos or so. So they're still big animals.
What's the lifespan of these things? About 6 months.
So they're very much like receiving.
Oh yeah.
And have a
feed them from
counterweight
there.
on the other end, and we'll feed them from that, so we have to jump
jump
up
up.
and grab it, which is the same sort of motion they would be doing out in the wild as well.
And they get up to that easily?
You'd be surprised how high these guys can jump. If you were to ever find a lion out in the wild, don't climb a tree. Come on, boys. What we get?
Interesting.
Come on. Come on.
They're still not working.
Yeah, this is where the laziness comes in, because it's all about maximising energy.
Yeah, but they're not hungry, right?
And yeah, they ate yesterday, and then it can take a couple of days to digest that kind of food. Come on!
Yeah.
Trouble! He would move for that, but it's not quite worth the risk. Come on, you!
In Africa, go poaching, where there's what? Crazy.
Come on!
I can reserve for you at once to have our breakfast. Yeah, and I will take that for you.
Look at the kitty. You don't want to get up.
Come on, man.
When was your birthday?
Today.
Oh, it's happy birthday!
Oh. he? Oh, he's up, he's up, he's up.
Oh,
So if anyone gets up, we might just have to swap it between the two of you, so you'll get to feed out all the food.
That's alright, it's mainly for her anyway, so.
Oh, he's like, I want to play.
Typically when one gets up, the other one will follow, because they don't want to miss out on anything. But.
He was playing a game, hide and seek.
Come on then!
Right, get in there, my love, get in there.
I want my nice bucket.
So when you hold the tongs, just hold them at the bottom, and kind of hold it quite tightly, because otherwise the meat will slip through it. So I'll show you how to do the first one, and then I'll let you have it.
Sorry, folks, can I get that tea?
Come on then, you!
Is he coming?
Where's the kitty? Oh, good lad! Come on then!
Good boy, Kitten.
Hello.
Still going to be very
He's really not bothered today.
Oh, look at that.
So, if you just hold this one down in my hand, like this.
Oh yeah, we got one up.
So, there you go.
Would I be able to see through? I'm just filming for her.
Just waited right till the end.
See, now the feeding's kicked in, it's getting a bit more energetic about it. Yeah, so when he had his anesthetic last week, he just rubbed his head a bit while he was getting a bit of a pain to get around.
Lions have me.
There's
There's a big bushy head.
It's just like a domestic cat's tongue. It's got loads and loads of hairs all over it. It's mainly for cleaning their prey off before they get huge mouthfuls of feathers and fur. They try to get as much of it off as they can. They'll still end up swallowing, and that then acts as a fibre in their diet, the same way fibre acts for us. Try one up here. You might get it. Come on, you. What did you get? Let me ask you too much. Let me ask you too much. Come on, you get trouble.
Definitely like
Come on. I know you're not supposed to read it. It's not fair, is it? Come on. No, we're not even doing that. No, we're going to be last of it. We're going to be last of it. Come on.
You do let him take a picture on your phone. I can't go to the top, I can't.
That's great.
You're going to be it?
That is a lion standing up. Very well trained behaviour.
Yes. What are you doing?
I'm feeding a kitty.
What is it?
You gonna stand up for me?
Come on, up you get. Good boy. Good boy. So you can see how thick that mane is. So that is all defence then from another male.
There's more to come. Maybe it's on their back. Piece like that. I need a better person. Oh, but it's going to be stuck, isn't it?
See? I have a lion. Not many people have done that, have they?
Up on the nose.
You're supposed to put it in the mouth?
Left to me, guys.
So you can see just how big his paws are.
Big paws.
And that's a stealth adaptation. So if you've got really big feet, you're spreading your weight out over a larger surface area, so then if you do step on something, you're less likely to snap a twig or something like that. So it just gets him that a little bit closer to his prey before he has to pounce.
No, I took that video.
Yeah, watch this now. Stay here.
Oh.
Watch him. He's like,
Above you.
John.
Come.
He's like, oh, it's a bit much effort.
Come on. Oh, no, he's done.
Oh,
we
he's
done?
done.
He's done.
Oh.
Cammy, what about you?
I'm happy. I'm funny. He's like, I'm fed.
And down.
And down.
He's done.
Last chance. No.
No.
Cam's off.
Cam doesn't wait. So let's family guys.
Lovely, lovely. So you like that?
Dave, look.
You had your chance.
It's the look.
So
Enjoy that?
she enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. She enjoyed it.
Right, I'm going to shoot off. Enjoy the rest of your day.
You do.
See you
Cool.
around.
Thanks so much.
I think Tom wanted to get back into the room. Cool.
Right.
Right, see you later.
See you
guys.
later.
Have a good day.
Right, back to reception to get your other bits. So, what did you do? Which is most fun?
I fed a kitty.
What kind of kitty?
Lion.
Where are you going?
I don't know where I'm going.
Is your head spinny because kitty?
I know, so I'm hungry now. I'm giving the kitty lunch.